and welcome to another WSIB Truth Matters with Joe Machado on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. The sun is shining, which is nice because it's been a little overcast in the last few days. So as we delve deeper into this confusing world that is the WSIB and the 72-month lock-in review, which I've been covering over the past several videos. And for those of you who are watching for the first time, you may want to go back and watch the first two videos, and then some of this will start to make sense. So today we're going to cover how the WSIB looks at the 72-month lock-in review, if the worker is cooperating in healthcare measures at the 72 months, which obviously would prevent them from doing the review at that point, or if the worker is cooperating in return to work measures at the 72 month, and there's ongoing activities with respect to that, and I'll cover that in this video as we delve into this. So, if you're cooperating at with healthcare measures at the 72 month, this is what the WSIB considers healthcare measures. In some cases, a worker will not be working but cooperating in healthcare measures at the time of the final review. That's the 72-month review. Quite often, the worker will be involved in a medical rehabilitation program. A medical rehabilitation program is any course of medical or paramedical treatment or care for a work-related injury. The purpose of a medical rehabilitation program is to bring the worker to a state of maximum medical recovery so that the worker may return to suitable and available employment. Generally, a medical rehabilitation program does not simply consist of the continued use of prescription medication and or maintenance physiotherapy or chiropractic treatments. I can't remember the first time I heard that term, maintenance physiotherapy and chiropractic treatments. Oh man, years ago, and I'm thinking, what the hell do they mean by maintenance? You maintain a car, you get the air filter changed, the oil changed, but maintenance physiotherapy or chiropractic treatment just never made sense to me. Anyway, a worker is considered to be in a medical rehabilitation program if any of the following situations occur, but is not limited to, so they get to dictate what it is: receiving active treatment due to a recurrence of the work-related injury or disease, attending a WSIB arranged specialist consultation, otherwise known as doctor shopping. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Or having a prosthesis repaired or replaced. The WSIB assesses active or planned health care at the 72-month period to decide if the final review should be deferred. And so they do have a mechanism whereby they can defer the review while this medical rehabilitation program is taking place. And I'm also going to get into return to work activities. So with respect to the deferred period and the benefit duration during that time, the WSIB says LOE benefits can continue to be paid beyond the 72-month period if a worker is participating and cooperating in healthcare measures or return to work activities. In some cases, a worker who completes a medical rehabilitation program may become involved in return to work process with the injury employer. If the return to work activities with the employer do not result in a return to suitable work, the WSIB may then provide the worker with a return to work assessment and, if necessary, a return to work plan with training. They go on to state the time for review. The WSIB may review the LOE benefits up to 24 months after the expiry of the 72-month period if the worker is involved in healthcare measures and/or return to work activities. The final review must be completed by the end of the 24-month period or sooner if either the healthcare measures or return to work activities, including return to work plans without training, have been completed. If the worker is involved in a return to work plan with training through the 72-month period, loss of earnings benefits can continue. The final review must occur within 30 calendar days of the plan completion, i.e. by the 31st day post-return to work plan completion. If the worker is not working at that point, see, end quote, when final review occurs before the worker is able to find job above. So as I explained in the previous video, if the worker has completed the retraining and is not working at the time of the 72-month review, the WSIB will then exercise one of the different review processes as described in my previous video. And of course, that includes bringing out their crystal ball and doing a lot of projecting and predicting as to what's going to happen in the future. But if the worker is engaged in an active return to work plan with retraining, then the final LOE or that extension period has to be done 30 days after that retraining ended. Wow. So, return to work activities at the 72 months, what does the WSIB consider that to be? Because it's important to get it in writing because they always follow their policies, as we know. Pardon the sarcasm, but anyway. So here's what they say with respect to that. Cooperating in return to work activities at 72 months, the WSIB defines the workplace parties' cooperation in return to work activities to include the injury employer and worker initiating and maintaining communication with each other throughout the worker's recovery and impairment, identifying and securing suitable and available work, for example, injury employer attempting to provide suitable work, worker assisting the injury employer to identify suitable work. Okay, that makes sense. Providing relevant workers' information to the WSIB concerning the worker's return to work, and notifying the WSIB of any difficulty or dispute concerning return to work. Then they go on to state, the WSIB generally considers the workplace parties to be cooperating in return to work activities, including return to work plans without training, at the 72-month period if the employer relationship between the workplace parties has been maintained, or employment relationship rather. The workplace parties are actively attempting to identify suitable and available work, or are in the process of arranging a return to work consistent with the worker's functional abilities, and neither workplace party is refusing to abide by their cooperation obligations. And some of you are probably thinking, well, my doctor said I shouldn't really be attempting that work, and the WSIB is forcing me to do it anyway, or I'm going to be deemed uncooperative. So here you go. Oh, geez. If the worker returns to accommodated employment and a significant change in circumstances related to the worker's impairment or labor market occurs at the time of the final review, the WSIB may refer the worker for appropriate return to work services. Okay, so if the cooperation that they're talking about between the worker and the employer has been somewhat frustrated or resulted in futility, so in other words, nothing's come of it, then the WSIB will refer the file for return to work services. This is all at that 72-month review circumstances that take place at that time. For some of this stuff actually makes some sense. The problem is when the WSIB is, by virtue of ignoring its own policies, in my opinion, of over 30 years of dealing with these people, it really becomes an exercise in futility, because if they're going to throw a kink in the road, so to speak, and force the worker back to work too soon and against doctors' recommendations, or force the employer to create or make up a job that may not necessarily be suitable or in the interest of the employer from a financial standpoint, it doesn't really provide for an equitable relationship in the whole process. So I find that a lot of times when they stick their noses in it, they actually make the process worse, rather than just take or allow the process to take its course, such as if a doctor is saying the worker is going to be seen by a specialist, is awaiting an appointment, and therefore it could be counterproductive to the treatment and recovery process to return to work at this time. And then the WSIB sticks their nose in it and says, no. We think that he should be able to do this job. If not, we're going to deem him uncooperative. And, well, you know what happens at that point, right? So here's what they say about cooperating in a return to work plan with training at 72 months. So at this point, you're actually involved in a college or university program or receiving some form of training, formal training. If a worker is cooperating in a return to work plan that is not completed by the 72-month time, the final review may be deferred. Of course, I've already covered this. This would include any situation where the current return to work plan had to be amended given changed circumstances. There may also be cases where the return to work assessment has been arranged or even completed with the intention to provide the worker with a return to work plan that would allow for the deferral. So we all know how that goes. But here you have it. These are the different factors upon which the WSIB may defer the 72-month lock-in review. And they're extra cautious with that, but because, the policy says, well, that lock-in review can only be reopened under very strict circumstances. And I haven't gotten to that point yet, and I'm going to cover that in tomorrow's video, along with going over tribunal decisions that clearly shows that in many, many instances, the WSIB itself undermines the whole process and tries to pressure things along, and then finds ways to reduce benefits and say, hey, it's locked in now, we can't do shit about it. And then, of course, it's left to the tribunal to deal with it. And they have, quite appropriately, on a number of instances that I'm going to cover tomorrow. But if only they were to follow their policies actually in a good faith approach, a lot of problems could probably be avoided. That's me talking about my experiences and thousands of cases that I handled and my office handled over a period of over 30 years. So, friends, stick with me because there's more coming and more interesting stuff. So tomorrow I'm going to cover significant deterioration post 72 months, temporary deterioration, the likely permanent impairment or redetermination, and eligibility despite a 0% NEL rating. So this will be covered tomorrow. The actual tribunal decisions that I'm going to be reviewing with you and covering how they can be used to force the WSIB to actually consider its own policy. That'll take place on the video after that, because I really don't want to rush any of this. And I'm laying this out in such a way that if you ever have to go back and review some of this stuff, if you find yourself in this situation, it'll be easy for you to identify and not get overwhelmed by all of this crap. So friends, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. And I'm trying to keep them short because this crap is kind of dry. I'd rather stick a needle in my eye sometimes. If you're already subscribed to the channel, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing my videos. It's helping me to grow the channel and accomplish my goal, which is to reach every injured worker in this province who has a WSIB claim, who has had problems with the WSIB in the past. I have a lot of information to impart. I've got over 87 videos now in around 5 months' time, and many more to come to deal with practical issues, real life stuff that happens with these people and how they continue to screw injured workers over, in my opinion. And so by sharing my videos, you're helping me to reach people. As a lot of you know, I have my company, WSIBsettlements.com, with a tremendous amount of tools based on experience and results of over 300 million in settlements for our clients that I believe can help you. Just have a look at what's there at WSIBsettlements.com. You may find there's nothing there to help you, or maybe there is. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, I invite you to become a subscriber. It's free. Just click the subscriber button and the notification bell. You get notified every time that I come out with a new video. Nobody's going to be looking for money. So it's, like I said, it's entirely free. If you have any questions about today's video or this particular subject matter or any subject matter relating to WSIB, by all means, send me an email at joemachado@WSIBsettlements.com. Let me know the particulars and I will get back to you. All right, friends, thanks for taking the time to watch this video. As always, take care now.